How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we got a story time of this girl in the subscribers class who's a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus, but not a normal fan. Not a normal fan that maybe enjoys the show or is a super fan who writes their own lore and likes to talk to other people who like the show. I'm not talking about those types of fans. I'm talking about those fans that give a bad name to the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm talking about those fans, or any fan in general of any community, that gives the community a bad name. I'm talking about those fans who makes whatever, anything, any show, anything like that, super sus. And is doing so super blatantly in class, and it's super weird, super cringy, but the story has a really interesting ending, so make sure to stick around for that. So leave a like in the video right now to claim your free nothing. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just jump right into this story. Anyway, so we're going to call the subscriber who submitted the story Will. And anyways, there's a girl in Will's class who is a sus fan of the Amazing Digital Circus. So if you don't know, real quick, and I learned most of this a second ago, so if I'm wrong about any details, don't pitchfork me in the comment section. I am doing my best. Basically, the Amazing Digital Circus is a web cartoon show type thing that's on the internet, is extremely popular, and it follows many characters, but the main one is I think her name is Pommy. If I totally mess that up, I'm going to use that name throughout the story because it's part of the story that I was told. I already apologize. I'm sorry. Anyways, though, so there's a lot of fans on the internet, right? There's a lot of people that can like, and there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, Will, the subscriber, told me that he was kind of interested. And in fact, it all started, the only reason he knew this girl was because they both had an interest in this show, and it started off nice, a nice introduction. Let's start there. So anyways, there's a girl in Will's class. We're going to call her Ava, right? Anyways, so Will and Ava don't know each other. But this show, The Amazing Digital Circus, comes out on YouTube. Or it's a YouTube show. It's not a show that comes out on YouTube. It really is a YouTube-based show. And they're really excited about it. They talk about it. Part 2, or the second episode, came out, I think, maybe 2 months ago or a month ago. And they're both really excited about it, and they're both individually talking to people about it. So Will's like going around being like, hey, like any of you guys like in the class. Okay, so this, to set the scene, this is before the class starts, and Will's like going around. He's like, hey, like anyone in the class like know about like, oh, did you see the new episode of The Amazing Digital Circus? Oh, did you see it? Like, it's so cool. No, none of his friends, all the boys were like, dude, what? Like, I literally don't even know what that is. I think like one kid knew of it, but just wasn't watching it at all. So, and Ava was doing the same thing. And Ava was going around to all of her friends or all the girls, and it's like, oh, like, did you see this new episode of The Amazing Digital Circus? And everyone's like, no. So Will and Ava are like going around their class asking people, because they're just both, because Will's a pretty big fan. Obviously, Ava and Will are both big fans. Ava's a little bit of a different type of fan, as you will see. Wink, wink, nod, nod, cringe face emoji, right? As you will see. However, you know, they're going around, they're talking to people, and that's when they both overhear each other asking other people if they saw the new episode. So they both turn around, almost like it was in a script, like it was perfect. Will and Ava both turned around as they both at the same time heard each other asking other people if they saw the new episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. So they turn around, and they were like, oh, hello there. Like, I didn't expect to hear someone going like, have you, and like Will's like, have you seen the new episode? And Ava basically completes his sentence being like, of The Amazing Digital Circus. And they're like, and then they go into it for like 2 hours, like 2 straight hours. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's not crazy. It's totally understandable. If you really, really are interested in something, and I am really, really interested in a bunch of random niche things that not a lot of people are interested in, so I can totally relate to this. If you're really interested in something, and no one around you has anywhere near the passion or interest, or not even enough to listen to you, right? And then all of a sudden, you find someone with the same level of interest, or at least near same level of interest. Yeah, I totally understand just talking to them for hours and hours about whatever's going on. Totally understandable. So very quickly, Ava and Will become fast friends, and Will's like, Will still hangs out with the boys, and he still does he doesn't really talk to Ava or hang out with her if it's not related to them discussing like the new Amazing Digital Circus, whatever, or like their theories or their favorite parts, or I don't know, right? If it's not about that, they're not really hanging out, which is fine. I don't really understand. Some people think, oh, if you hang out with someone for one thing, you must hang out with them for everything. They must be a universal friend. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's like you got friends on your baseball team that you chill with, and you don't necessarily need to go to the movies with them. I don't know. Like, I don't think everyone needs to be an all-purpose friend. Like, that's fine. Different people can have different things. But anyways, not to get on a tangent. So things are great. Will's really happy because, as you can tell in the very beginning, not a lot of other people shared his interest in this show. Not a lot of, and the one dude who did know was like, yeah, like, bro, I'm aware of it, but I literally have no idea what it is. Like, I really don't know. Like, I know of it. Like, I've seen it. I know it's very popular, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Like, that was the level of interest that Will was aware that people had, and then he found this girl who was obsessed with it. Little did Will know that this was about to go downhill very quickly. Anyways, so one day, about a week later, Ava and Will are hanging out at lunch. And most days of the week, Will's hanging out with the boys at lunch. But every once in a while, he'll have like maybe one day of the week. Because he also doesn't want to completely abandon the boys. Because he's like, oh, he's found like a super fan also about the show, wants to hang out with them. But he also wants to make sure he keeps his other friendships because, I don't know, he doesn't really feel like he and Ava, like Ava's going to like fill in every other gap, right? That's probably, it's not the vibe. It's not what he's feeling. Anyways, though, so sure enough, him and Ava one day are just kind of like sitting at the table. Maybe about a week later, things are good, things are chilling, or so it seems. And Ava's like, hey, I just wanted to, I don't know. Like, I wanted to make sure that you were truly a super fan of the Amazing Digital Circus. And I don't know, I think today is the day I'm going to show you. And Will's like, So here's a little bit of commentary. So Ava and Will, they spent a lot of time together. Sure, it's only been a couple weeks, but they've spent a lot of hours together. Like, volume of time has been very high. However, it's been very specific. It's been very niche in the category of time. Like, his understanding of Ava is still extremely one-dimensional. Even if it is very tall, it is extremely one-dimensional. What I'm trying to say is normally when you hang out with someone and you learn about their family, you talk to them about a bunch of different topics, you hang out with them, you see how they interact with other people, you get the full spectrum of who they are. You get a very good 3D rendering of their character, their personality, their pros, cons, everything. You really learn a lot about them. However, in this situation, Will only really experienced Ava's love of this show, The Amazing Digital Circus. He didn't know anything else about her. He doesn't even know her last name. It is to that degree. I mean, the last name is kind of an arbitrary, random thing, but that's my example to show how little he actually does know about her. So the following is going to seem shocking, and it is shocking. But at the same time, it's not as if Will was able to make a great judge of her character. Anyways, though, and that little tiny disclaimer, if the following thing that Ava does is something that you do, it's fine. I don't care. I'm a huge live and let live type individual. That's kind of how I approach a lot of things. However, I do suggest don't bring it to school and don't show random people, without letting them know fully what it is beforehand. Because you're trauma alert right there, dude. That's all I'm about to say. So anyways, Will and this girl Ava are sitting at the table. Ava's like, I just wanted to make sure you were a big enough fan of the Amazing Digital Circus so that you would actually appreciate what I'm about to show you. And Will's like, Ava's like, yeah, so here's my special folder. And she like goes into her backpack and she pulls out this like standard manila folder, but it is a thick manila folder. Like, this folder is stretched to the limit with lots of pieces of paper, some of them thin, some of them thicker. I mean, it looked like a whole range of whatever. And so she opens it up and immediately, oh my God, So you know how the Amazing Digital Circus has been getting some flack recently, not for the show and not for the average fan, but because of some of the fans that have been making very sus drawings. I mean, this has been a downfall of almost every community on the internet. Go from way back in the day when I started watching YouTube videos, 2015, 2016, you got the Five Nights at Freddy's, you got the Undertale. They got bad news in their bad rep in their community for this reason too. Look, bro, if you're going to be drawing these sus images, do not show random people. So anyways, Ava opens up the folder and Will is like, what the hell? Like, he's like, oh my God. He's just sitting there and he's just looking at Pommy. But she does not look like she looks like normally. If you guys are catching my drift. Brother looks a little different is all I'm trying to say, if you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so Will's kind of just sitting there at the lunch table. First of all, he's just in complete shock. And Ava just does not recognize this, or if she recognizes this, she's purposefully ignoring it, and she keeps leafing through all of these other drawings. And Will says, the drawings were technically very good in the fact that she is quite a good artist, but it's like you're using your powers for evil. Anakin, you were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. Yeah, so Will's is kind of sitting there like mouth almost open, like, what? He's like, what? Why would you think because I like the show that I want to see them without clothes on? Why would you think that? Why would you think? It's like, why would you think that, bro? Why would you jump to that conclusion? My brother, why would you jump to that conclusion? It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, so sure enough, Will is kind of just in shock. And worst case scenario ever happens. Two of Will's boys walk over. And Will's like, yo, you gotta put that away. She's like, what? And she, just in time, closes the manila folder. And Will's boys walk over and they're like, yo, Will, like, we're about to go to sixth period. Do you want to join us? And he's like, yeah, I should go. Looks at Ava's like, yeah, I gotta go. And so Will gets up. Looks like he's seen a ghost. Looks like he's seen the resurrection of his like dead grandmother at this point, bro. Like he's not looking good, but he's not looking healthy at the moment. It's not a good situation. It's not a good scene. Anyways, though, so sure enough, the subscriber, Will is just walking with his friends, dead silent. Because right now, he's just been traumatized. He's internalizing what he just saw. And, so he's walking with his friends. His friends are like, dude, like, are you good? Like, something happened to you? Like, are you okay? Will's like, no, I'm fine. They're like, okay, well, I don't know. Okay, fine. We're not gonna dive into it. That's another thing with guy friendships. Sometimes, like, we understand when, and huge generalization, by the way, but at least my guy friendships. Sometimes you know when to make sure you're there for someone. Sometimes you also know when to give someone space. Different people require different things. Anyways, though, so we're Will's going along, goes into class, really just going through the motions because the whole time he's like, oh my God, dude, what? My friend is he's like, oh man, like, because at this point he's like, okay, I gotta close up shop. Either we never discuss those things again. He says, okay, like, because Will's thinking right now, I enjoy talking to her about the Amazing Digital Circus. She's the only one here who likes the same thing I like. However, there's no way I'm going to be caught chilling with her looking at that garbage, bro. Like, I'm not trying to see that. He said, I'm already, like, messed up enough from that. So he's kind of just sitting there thinking, okay, so it's either we never talk about it again, I make it clear, and we're able to talk about the other things, or I just have to close up the relationship and just, I don't know, watch it on my free time. Go on internet forums. I don't know, go on frickin' Tumblr or something. Is that even around anymore? I don't know. Anyway, I'm really getting aged in my comments, man. 2016 internet was something else. All I'm saying, 2016 internet, something else. Yeah, so anyways, right, the subscriber, he's kind of just like, okay, next time I see her, I gotta just let her know. So the subscriber is walking back to his locker, And he only has class with this girl 2 times a week. So he's like, okay, next time I either bump into Ava or I'm in class with Ava tomorrow, like, I'm just gonna be like, hey, like, it's cool that you like to do whatever you want with those characters, but I'm really trying to, I'm not a fan of that, so let's just stick to talking about, like, the main series. He said, yeah, it's going to go over great. She's definitely not some crazy psychopath who's going to start stalking me, and, well, I don't want to give away the rest of the story because it's about to get pretty juicy, and if you made it this far into the video, then congrats, it's going to pay off pretty good. But anyways, right, so he's like, yeah, it should be fine. So he's walking to his locker, and he sees a girl that looks like Ava, like, standing outside of his locker. It's very weird. It's one of those lockers, like, in the, you know, high school, middle school, because every like public school has slightly different lockers, I've found. It's kind of like the row of lockers with the vents on them that you can, like, open up, whatever, like in the movies, or, well, I don't know, because I know some public schools have it differently. Some are inside, like, rooms, some are in hallways. This one's in the hallway. So he sees a girl that looks like Ava standing outside of his locker. He's like, that's really weird. And this girl kind of, like, looks at him and then starts to run away really quickly. So Will's dude, what? So Will goes up to his locker and he opens it up and he sees a piece of paper face down in his locker, as if something was pushed through his vent and made it face down. So he goes in there, grabs the piece of paper, flips it around, and it's another one of these without closed drawings of one of the the Amazing Digital Circus characters. And Will's like, dude, what? And he, like, immediately, like, crumples it up, puts it in his pocket. Because, one, he's not trying to see that. And also, two, he's not trying to be seen seeing it. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment circus down below. That'll be the secret word of the day, and I'll see how many people, I'll see, like, the names and faces of people who made it this far into the video. I've seen people commenting, oh, you can look in the, you know, the analytics. Yeah, I can actually see the exact percentage of people to the second watching it this far, but percentages don't give me names and faces, and I enjoy names and faces. Also, comment down below what you do while watching my videos, as I found it really interesting. I found it yesterday. Someone was putting together a Lego set. That's sick. And if you don't know, the best way to support the channel is just let these videos play in the background while you're doing stuff. Watch a bunch of the videos. Go to sleep to one of my compilation videos. Actually, genuinely helps out the channel a ton. So please let me know in the comment section down below if you are doing this. And by the way, if you're a Spotify listener, make sure you follow the podcast and rate it at 5 stars, as that does help out. And if you're new to a podcast, go ahead and vote on the poll. I think that helps out, or at least Spotify likes it. Anyways, so at this point, okay, Will's like, okay, I've had enough. Like, this is a little ridiculous. So the next day in class, you know, Ava's in class with him. Or it's the class with Ava there. Will gets in there, and Ava's not there. Ava normally was always there. So Will wasn't ever friends with Ava, but this was a small enough class. It was like 20, 30 people that you kind of got a sense of if a kid was always coming in late or if a kid was always there before you. Like, you walk into class like a minute before or something, and there's like these 4 kids that are always there, right? Ava was one of them. So now Ava's not there, and that's weird. He's like, okay, is she ducking me? Like, is she ducking me here? I really can't tell. And so, you know, Ava's, like, not there. So Will sits down near his friends. Sometimes he's sitting next to Ava in this class now because, you know, it's a friend. Now it's questionable. So anyways, 2 minutes after class, the teacher's already talking. Ava comes through the door. Teacher kind of turns and looks at Ava like, what? You're always one of the first. You're normally here before me. But I think the teacher, since Ava's always been early, not going to give her any flack. Ava immediately basically power walks to the end of the room, to the very, very back of the room, and sits there. Will's like, okay, that's super weird. She never has ever sat in the back. She's either mid-row or the front. And the only reason she's been mid-row is because she might want to talk to me. She's always been front of the class, there before the teacher, there before me. And now she's 2 minutes late for the first time ever and shoots to the back of the class. There is a few seats open in the back, a few seats open in the middle, and a few seats open in the front. So if you're thinking the only seat available is in the back, you're not correct here. So that was kind of weird. So at some point, Will in the middle of class is like, okay, let me at least look at her. So Will kind of like tries to be all sly and like, oh, I dropped my pencil. Now I have to turn around. He could have done the same thing of like, oh, I'm going to go crack my back. And there's a million ways that you can fake look behind you, right? Dropping your pencil is a classic. So he drops his pencil, goes to pick it up, and as he picks it up, he looks up, boom, makes direct eye contact with Ava, and she's staring at him with a terrifying stare. And Will immediately turns around to you, and he's like, oh my God. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. So at this point, Will's like, you know what? No. I'm putting an end to this. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be very quick to get out of my seat. I'm going to wait at the door, and I'm going to catch her on the way out. So anyways, class ends. Will grabs his stuff, almost bolts for the door. He sees in the corner of his eye that Ava's like almost sprinting at this point. It's weird. He gets to the door, and he stops there. And when Ava goes through the door, like a second later, he's like, hey, Ava, can I talk to you? And Ava looks at him. And then sprints away down the hall. He's like, hey, yo, where are you going? And, Will's not going to sprint after a girl because that looks kind of weird. And you probably shouldn't get in the habit of doing that, okay? Tip to the gentleman in the audience. By the way, I still have the flu, but I'm grinding these videos for you. Maybe because it's December and it's the best ad month, but also because I will stop at nothing for your entertainment. The flu, easy, boom, bodied. I'm actually posting more videos than I would without having the flu, just to prove it has nothing on me. But you can also leave a like in this video if you haven't already to give me 1 like equals 1 prayer for me getting over the flu. And also my voice sounds weird, sorry. Anyway, so he's not gonna run after this girl. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So anyways, he's kind of just contemplating what he should do. And he's walking to his locker. And that's when he goes to his locker and he opens it up and it's just bombarded with a flood of pieces of paper. Like he opens up his locker and all these pieces of paper start floating out. And immediately, there's other people around him. So he has a feeling that they could be what he thinks it is because he did not put these in there himself. So he immediately starts quickly swatting at the air, trying to grab all the paper he can, grabbing it, going on the floor, scooping it up, and just crumpling it up and trying to push inside his locker, slams his locker shut. People around him were looking, but thankfully for him, they didn't see any of the pieces of paper. So now he opens up his locker again, very slowly, because before he opened it up nonchalantly and everything flew out. So he opens it up very slowly, reaches in, grabs one of the pieces of paper, unfurls it, and sure enough, it is a sus image. By the way, I want to make it very clear, this is extremely not okay. In fact, you could very likely get suspended, if not suspelled. I'm a genius. Expelled. And if you're an adult doing this, you could very well go to prison. This has to be some kind of harassment or stalking, or this is something very bad, right? Maybe it's a little different because they're in middle school or high school, but this is messed up. Unfortunately for us, I'm still waiting on a part 2. This story was submitted to me to my Instagram, @connorpugs, submit stories there too. Make sure you are subscribed because it is very likely that I will make the part 2 once I receive it. At least, and if it's a really quick ending, I'll throw it into a video in the middle of it. So either way, make sure you are subscribed. Support the channel by watching the video on screen right now or one in the sidebar. With that being said, peace.